Hey everybody, Andrew Nalette here from Print Entertainment Group. We are in the Nightlight Cinema here in downtown Akron. I am joined by Kurtiss Hare, the executive director of the Nightlight. Kurtiss, how are we doing?
I'm so glad to be here. We're going to talk about visual effects, and that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. So with a lot of these technical categories, we don't always agree, and this is going to be another one of those cases where you and I, we don't exactly see eye to eye on what we think the Academy is going to do. I know personally we'd love to, we're happy with almost any of these because the visual effects this year were so fantastic, but what we think is going to win the hearts of the Academy, we definitely disagree on. So Kurtiss, how do you think the Academy is going to go this year?
Well, I have to say that I think they're going to go with Mad Max because this year, again, it's of all the things that are going to stick in my mind visually speaking, it's just the one that stands out the most, the biggest, the brightest, the most unique. And one thing I would call out in Mad Max is Andrew Jackson was one of the guys who works on the visual effects team, and he did some work in 300, which was also a film that had a lot of visual effects that are memorable. But the scene with the toxic storm, I have not experienced that much sort of panic and excitement and terror just at the image of seeing this storm roll in on the front while they're in their cars. And the closest thing it reminded me of was like Interstellar with the big tidal wave scene. But I think like this is even more complicated and flowing and rolling. And I just think of all of the physics work that had to go into creating something like that. Looked like something from another planet, really. So that's kind of why I'm going for Mad Max.
And speaking of other planet, that's why I'm going to go with Star Wars The Force Awakens. See what I did there?
Yep,
I hope you liked it. I think Star Wars just did an amazing job of giving us something that felt visually so familiar.
Yes.
You know, they did so many things with the costumes and everything that kind of shied away from the visual effects side, but in space, just all of the flying around, the lightsabers, all the battles, it was something that felt familiar from the visual effects, but also was completely new. Okay. If that makes sense.
It does. That makes sense. And if I can interject,
please
I would say,
please do.
Some of the familiarity is a little bit why I couldn't make this one work.
Yeah.
I love Lupita Nyong'o, incredible actress, right? And she does some great voice work actually in Star Wars. But her character, again, it just felt a little bit like the Jar Jar Binks stuff, where it's just like, why is this weird CG character here? It doesn't feel right. I guess it is familiar in the sense that we're hearkening back to this lineage. But for me, it's just like I could have done without the CG character and just stick with the practical effects. Because when they do that, it's pretty astounding.
Yeah. And for those folks who know who Lupita is, but they're like, whoa, I didn't even see her in that movie. That's again one of the reasons I'm picking it for visual effects. She was that crazy character with the glasses who was in there for a couple of the different shots, couple different sequences. She was great. I thought the visuals were amazing. The special effects coordinator was quoted saying, out of the 2,500 shots in the movie, 2,100 had CGI in it.
Yeah.
So this movie is heavily CGI. The other thing, the Academy, the past 2 years, you had mentioned Interstellar before, Interstellar 1, Gravity the year before that. I feel like the Academy is not sick and tired of visual effects that take place in space, and another reason why I think Star Wars is going to take it home. Yeah. And that being said, if Mad Max wins it, I'm going to be ecstatic.
Yeah.
If either movie wins, very, very happy from my end, but I do think Star Wars is going to take it.
I know we're supposed to fight a little bit here, but I would say that one thing I really did appreciate about Star Wars visual effects are kind of the restraint that was shown, especially in explosions and things like that, because in the prequels and in the highly edited versions of the 70s, 80s films, like the explosions got weirder and more digital and more cold and more blue, and like with like weird sort of explosive rings coming out of them. But this time when you have a big weapon planet that's exploding, it feels like sort of like maybe that's how it would happen. Yeah. Like that's what it would look like.
It does feel very
so I'll give it to him for that.
It feels very real CGI, unlike a lot of the prequels and what George
like
did to some of his original
fantastic
movies.
sci-fi,
Well, we definitely didn't agree with this one, but I feel like either of us won't be too upset if we're wrong.
Yep.
So thank you everybody for joining us. You can check out more of our videos and our whole prediction video on our social media, Print Entertainment Group and the Nightlights. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to disagreeing or agreeing some more.